Hey Lou, it's great to be with you. Yeah, we're here. I'm with Kari Lake, and we're actually at that point where you're watching that video from last night. With my estimation is about 250 illegals were here in this open section of the wall. You can see just behind us, that's Mexico, the sand dunes. That's where the cartels set up shop, and they basically pay the people to come across. And this is some of what they left behind, Lou. Just wads of cash, parts of their passports, and if we walk down this way, you actually see there's actually a few of them that are still being processed. Now, this is the wall that would have been complete under President Trump. This was going to be a gate right here, but you can see now there's nothing. And if we just kind of stand right up here, we've got four more. They just took 2 buses. Border Patrol said that they just took 2 buses down. And this is why it's so critical, Lou, and why we have Kari, and it's just an honor to have Kari here with us, because it's up to the governors at this point. The federal government's not going to do it. It's really up to the governors.
And it's up to the border states. And Lou, thank you for having me on, by the way. When you go to any of the states, you're going to hear people say their #1 issue is the border, even if they are thousands of miles away from our border state. We've got 2 border states right now that are still in the hands of conservatives, Arizona and Texas. And that's why this coming election is so critical. Because if we lose another border state to somebody who has open borders, I fear this country's gone. The border states are the most critical states right now in the country. We've got to get a governor in who is going to get tough on the border and basically take President Trump's policy and reinstate it. Yeah. And our Constitution set it up to where we can do that.
That's right.
Article 4, Section 4, and I know your viewers know this, the guarantee clause requires that the federal government protect us from invasion. Obviously, they're not doing that, and if you've been watching Ben and Lou for any time, you know that we have an invasion at our border. It's about to get worse at the end of this month when Title 42 goes away. It's going to be very evident there's an invasion for those who haven't figured it out yet. And Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 empowers the states to get involved when there is an invasion and protect their own citizens. And that's what we're going to do with my border plan. We need to do it immediately, but I won't be taking office until January 23. We need to do it immediately and actually get our Arizona National Guard down here, arm them and prevent them from allowing people to come across our border. Our poor Border Patrol has been left demoralized by this illegitimate president, Joe Biden.
Yeah, and this is, and Lou, to answer the question, how did they get here? We're funding it now. It's the whole controlled flow. And to have Secretary Mayorkas this morning say that they have managed this crisis, what they've done, they've managed to make it worse. They've managed to allow an invasion into our country. And the fact that he hasn't been removed from office and Joe Biden haven't been removed from office, it's really the death of our nation if it doesn't stop, Lou.
Well, you're exactly right. And Kari, we are talking about what we must do to secure that border. But one of the things we have to do is secure our elections. You are now in the fight against electronic voting, and you are pushing for that, bringing legal action along with Michael Lindell and Mark Fincham running for the Secretary of State there in Arizona. Tell us how that's progressing, if you would, Ben, ask that short question.
Well, just about the elections too. So, Kari, Lou wants to know, how you were in the fight. We've seen the fraud in 2020. The concern is that we're going to see that again in 2022. And what you're seeing with that, and especially with this, how that plays into this fight.
Great question, and it's because of that corrupt, stolen election that we have this problem.
That's right.
Stolen elections have consequences. Corrupt elections have consequences, and we're feeling it from our sky-high inflation, our energy policy that's been dismantled and destroyed, the supply chain issues that we're seeing it with our border. Had the legitimate president been sitting in office, which I believe is President Trump, we wouldn't have this problem. But we've had a lack of leadership and people who want to just sweep what happened in 2020 under the rug. I don't. I want to drag that thing back out into the sunlight and expose it for what it is, which was wrought with fraud, wrought with corruption. And just last Friday, I got involved. I issued an injunction. Oh, we got some people coming across real quick.
Yeah, can we turn over here real quick, Lou?
We'll get back on that in a minute.
Idea. This is how it happens. They just simply all day long. We've got 2 men coming across, and it's mostly single men. So we're just hanging right here. We've got 2, but what we'll see is all day long there's just groups of them over and over and over again. They come in, they turn themselves in, and they get put on a bus and shipped into America. It's constant. Kari.
It's just...
And this is, but again, elections, that's why the elections are so important.
They absolutely are, and we're going to get to the bottom. We've got two men coming over right now. Now, my instinct is to say, hey, go back across the border. We're not interested right now. And unfortunately, you can't do that. You know, Ben's telling me that you used to do that, and they threatened to arrest you.
Well, don't say I used to do that. They actually said that if we did that they could arrest us for violating their constitutional rights.
Their rights, not ours, their rights. So let's watch this play out. Turning themselves in to be processed. And I think if people are honest with themselves, the way things are going, we're watching two people actually end up becoming permanent residents here in America.
And that's the problem with this is it's designed to fail. It's not failed policy. This is the policy.
Yep.
And this is Joe Biden's America, right?
And they're training activists as we speak to process asylum seekers. Now, 90+% of the people coming here seeking asylum are asylum fraudsters.
Yeah.
They're asylum fraudsters.
And Lou, this is really, the moral of the story is this goes back to these NGOs and these leftist groups. We are being destroyed from within by these Marxist organizations that are profiting off of the invasion of America.
Right.
They're training people on what to say when they get here and how to break our asylum laws.
It's despicable. And one of the programs that I was telling you about on the way over is our own University of Arizona, holding these courses to train asylum processors and asylum evaluation experts. And you know what they are. They're activists who are just going to rubber stamp asylum, and they're going to try to turn everybody who's coming across illegally into this country into American citizens. It is outrageous. And one of the things you talked about, Lou, just a little bit ago was this election, our stolen election. This is why on Friday I filed an injunction in federal court in Phoenix to ban these electronic voting machines. They count 100% of our vote here in Arizona. Two or three private companies who won't tell us how the machines work. They won't even give us the passwords to the machines. They won't tell us how those little Dominion black boxes work. And they want to count all of our votes. We need to get rid of those. That is the death of our election, and we got to stop that. So I am working very hard to try to make sure we can do that by filing this injunction.